It is Monday, August 10th, 2020, and this is, I guess, the first episode of the Nick Black podcast. Well, at least that's the name I'm going with right now because I suck at coming up with names, and my name is Nick Black. If any of you actually know who I am, I'm assuming it's because I'm also one of the co-hosts of the Oh My Geek podcast. This is not that. I'm going to be talking about a lot of random shit. Whatever I feel like talking about. Might not be that entertaining. Today's episode probably isn't going to be that pleasant. But let's get on with it. As I said, it is Monday, August 10th. And according to Wikipedia, a lot of bad shit has happened in history on this day. I'm not going to go over that. If you guys want to look it up yourselves, totally feel free. But I do want to say some happy birthday wishes to actor Antonio Banderas, the late mixed martial artist Kevin Randleman, and me. I am 36 years old today, and I gotta be honest with you, I fucking hate my birthday. I know a lot of people do, and a lot of people have their reasons for it. For me, it's usually, more often than not, a pretty shitty day. I'm not going to go into the details of that. I've obviously had some good birthdays. There was a few when I was a kid, back in the late 80s that I can't really complain about. But, once the 90s hit, literally, 1990 to present, I think I've only had, a handful of what I would call good birthdays. And the ones that I can think of are all thanks to my girlfriend of the last 10 years. In fact, quite literally the best birthday I've ever had was because of her. I'm a pretty hardcore Raider fan, and back in 2012, she got me fourth row, 45-yard line tickets to a Monday Night Football game, and it literally is the closest I will ever be to a football field, especially now that the Raiders are gone. I'm not going to Vegas. Well, I couldn't even if I wanted to because no fans this year because of the pandemic. We all know about the pandemic. We're all living through it. I really didn't want to celebrate my birthday in the middle of this. It sucks. And usually my birthday sucks anyway. But it especially sucks right now. I haven't seen anyone outside of my household, literally no one, save for a handful of customers when I was briefly still working, since March 16th. It is August 10th. This is the normally it would be the 222nd day of the year, but since this year was a leap year, it is the 223rd day of the year. And the majority of this year I've spent in my home. Why? Well, on March 17th, California issued a stay-at-home order that, to the best of my knowledge, never really got lifted. Although, if I'm being honest, most people I know are not obeying this order, but I am. I'm taking this virus pretty seriously, and if I'm being honest, it's taking its toll on me. Mental health is not good right now. As I mentioned, I've only been in contact with the members of my household, and I'm not going to get into why, but for the last several days, I have not really been on speaking terms with the members of my household, and yes, it is my fault, but it is what it is. But let me talk a little bit about birthdays, right? We live in a society where, as a kid, if we're lucky, I know people that didn't have this kind of childhood growing up, but if you're lucky, on your birthday or around your birthday, you get a party thrown for you. Everyone celebrates you. Everyone gives you presents. It's your special day. But is it really your special day? I mean, I would find out pretty early on in my childhood that no, actually, it is not a special day. And I hate when people treat it like it is, because it's just another day. You're a year older, right? It's all that it really is. But when people treat it like, I'll pause right now, because I definitely do want to say I definitely appreciate everyone who wishes me happy birthday, everyone who gives me a gift. It's all the love is definitely appreciated. But I also think that when we're conditioned to expect positive outcomes on a specific day of the year, when those don't happen, or at least in my example, my case, it can be devastating. I mean, I've had some downright miserable birthdays, and I had to condition myself over time to just, like, it's your birthday. Who gives a fuck, right? Like, no one's going to care, really. No one, really cares. And then there's, like, the little annoyances, like, I'm getting all kinds of Facebook notifications and, happy birthdays. And again, I appreciate it. Like, I really, really do. I appreciate the thoughtfulness. I appreciate love, but I don't even use Facebook anymore. So now I'm going to have to go into Facebook later, and I always wait until, like, the next day, because then I don't want to have to, like, go through 20 notifications of thank yous and then another dozen pop up. So I usually just try to wait until it's all said and done, and then, thank everyone down the line. But I don't use Facebook anymore, like, at all. And you really shouldn't use Facebook, guys. It's just such a great source of misinformation. It so much bullshit is shared on that website. If you don't absolutely need to use Facebook, I highly encourage anyone listening, just stop it, delete it. The only reason I've kept my account is because, well, I'm not working anymore, pandemic. But when I was, a lot of customers would communicate to me through Facebook. So, and I've got a specific group chat that has been active for a couple of years that actually matters to me. And so if it wasn't for those things, I would have deleted Facebook a long time ago and said I just don't use it anymore. But, and like, I'm always hearing from people on my birthday that I only ever really hear from on my birthday. And again, I appreciate the thoughtfulness, but I mean, there are times like today, times are bad. I mean, I don't want to say it's annoying, but it's like I'm not in a state where I really feel I can talk to people right now. So it's like, damn, like, I'm not saying I wish everyone would ignore me. I'm just saying the timing is bad, right? But I shouldn't be ranting about this, man. I mean, there's people out there who don't have anybody that care about them. I should really be more grateful. I should be. But like I said, guys, the pandemic times is tough, guys. I mean, I'm 36 years old. I'm unemployed. I've said earlier, I haven't seen anyone outside of my household for 5 months, and I don't know when it's going to be safe to actually do so. And I get it. Shitload of people out there are just like, fuck it. It ain't that serious. Just go out and just do stuff. I can't do that. This shit is serious. And at times I kind of feel like I'm the little Dutch boy with his finger in the dam, because I'm sitting here, like, literally in my room, where I've been for the majority of the last 5 months, just kind of hoping that I'm contributing to, how best to put this, the defeat of this virus, this pandemic, in whatever way that I can. And that means, social distancing. That means not going out and interacting with people physically. I've been talking to everyone. I haven't stopped talking to anybody, even though I haven't seen anybody in a long time. I've still been in contact with everybody. Thanks to the wonders of technology, text messaging, Instagram, Snapchat, Zoom, what have you, right? But, I mean, still, this shit takes its toll. I ended up quitting my job. I went back to it briefly for about 4 weeks. I quit because of the pandemic, because I didn't feel it was safe. I don't really have a lot of options. I'm a community college dropout. Even though I've got like 14 years of managerial experience without a college degree, learned that shit the hard way a couple years ago. I wasn't even getting, like, I was applying at any place that, like, was, I mean, really any place that was offering in the area. Throwing a wide net out there. And the only places that were even, like, responding to me were places that I didn't even understand what they were doing. And I kind of thought it was like a pyramid scheme, to be honest. But without a college degree, all my experience means absolutely nothing. So here I am, 36 years old, jobless, with very few, if any, opportunities in my future, facing what looks like it could be the next Great Depression, where nobody's going to have any job opportunities in the future. God, I hope I'm wrong. So the future's looking pretty bleak. And I don't know where I'm going with this. I guess I'm just ranting. Venting out my insecurities, my negative shit, whatever you want to call it. Happy birthday to me. Yeah, sorry guys, I don't really want this to be all that negative. Like I said, I just got some venting to do. That's actually why I'm recording right now. I can't really talk to anyone else at the moment. I don't really think anyone's even going to listen to this. I'm going to upload it to YouTube if I can, but I really don't think anyone's going to listen to this, so that's kind of why I'm saying all this. I figure this could be a safe way for me to vent. And if I'm wrong, it's just a chance I'm going to take. Fuck it, who cares? But moving on from this, I wanted to talk about something else. I don't know if you guys like baseball. I mean, it used to be everyone liked baseball. Now it seems like I'm one of a handful of people that does. But when I was a little kid, my dream job, I'm going to pause right now because I want to go on a tangent now about the term dream job. So up until June, I was the manager of a comic book shop. And I mean, it's a very unique experience. I mean, really, it's one of those things that unless you've actually done the job, you just can't possibly understand that. And I mean that because nobody does. Everyone thinks you're just sitting around reading comic books all day. And actually, as I got more and more responsibilities, I found myself reading less and less comics. And not just, I mean, I never read comics at work because I was working, but I mean, just in general, in my free time, it became work. It wasn't something that was fun to me anymore. So ironically, I've read more comics since quitting. But in recent years, I read damn near nothing. I was still buying comics. My room looks like an episode of Hoarders because I have a ridiculously large comic book collection. I used to joke around with customers that somebody could come by, buy up every single item, comic books, toys, pops, whatever you want. They can buy every single item we had in store, and then I could take my collection from home, restock the shelves, and nobody would notice the difference. I mean, if this pandemic goes on for another year, I could just start reading like all the shit that I've bought over the years and never read, and still probably not finish it all in a year's time. But people would always say, man, you got the dream job. You got the dream job. And I'd always think to myself, I'll ignore that. I'm getting messages. If working at a comic book store is your dream job, you're really, really not dreaming big enough, guys. Like, I can't stress it enough. Like, I made minimum wage. There were times where I made nothing at all, but that's a whole other story. When I was a little kid, my dream job, like what I desperately wanted to do as a child was I wanted to play left field for the Oakland Athletics. I am well, I can't say this anymore, but I used to be able to say I am an Oakland sports fan. I'm a Warriors fan, but now they're playing in San Francisco. I'm an A's fan. They're currently the only team in Oakland. And I'm a Raiders fan. And they're a month away from playing their first game in Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. And, ultimately, I'm happy for them. This is the first time in the history of their entire franchise they've actually had their own stadium. When they first opened up, when they first started, not opened up, obviously, they split time between two stadiums in San Francisco, even though they were the Oakland Raiders, Candlestick and Kezar. And then they played in Frank Ewell Field from like 63 to like 67 when the Oakland Coliseum opened. But the Oakland Coliseum opened because Oakland had essentially stolen Kansas City's baseball team, the Athletics, that had moved from Philly. So the Oakland Coliseum was never really the Raiders stadium. It was the A stadium. But the Raiders played there until they moved to Los Angeles, where they played in the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum, which is home to the University of Southern California Trojan football team. And then they moved back to Oakland Coliseum. And, I mean, literally, this is the first time this team has ever had their own. It is their stadium. It was built for them and only them, and they're not going to share it with anybody. I don't think they're sharing it with UNLV. Don't comment that UNLV might be playing, or one of the colleges there might be playing there too. I don't know. Well, actually, no. Doesn't look like college football is going to happen at all. Some of the conferences have officially said nope, not going to happen. A couple of the conferences are like, what do we do? And Dan Patrick said the SEC is trying to figure out, hey, any schools want to temporarily join the SEC for a season? It doesn't look like we're going to get college football this year, which really fucking sucks, right? I love football. Like, I passionately love football. And I totally understand. It doesn't seem like it's safe. Although Trevor Lawrence made an interesting comment that, without college football, you're going to force these players to go back home into communities where the virus is running rampant. So it also doesn't look like it's safe for them. I don't know. We're like really in a damn if we do, damn if we don't situation. But like, again, if all these motherfuckers just wore masks back in fucking March instead of like spouting all this stupid bullshit, but freedom, free country, man. You stupid fucks. This is why we're not going to get college football. Now, it seems like the NFL is hell-bent on playing. We're a month away, like literally to the day, September 10th, from game one, although no preseason. That's going to be weird. Very limited training camps. That's also going to be very weird because we're probably going to get a lot of really rusty football for the first half of the season, assuming it continues. Although I thought they were going to cancel baseball after the Marlins tested positive, and then the Cardinals keep having players testing positive, and yet they still haven't canceled the season. Which, brings me back to the point I was trying to get at originally. I'm an A's fan. I'm a diehard A's fan. That's my team. And at the moment, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed, knocking on wood, I don't want to jinx nothing, but they are the best team in baseball right now. They are 12-4 on a 9-game win streak. Granted, not every team has played a full schedule because of the cancellations of various games and series due to the outbreaks, but at the moment, they are the hottest team in baseball. And yesterday, they played the pariahs of the sports world right now, the Houston Astros, the goddamn dirty motherfucking cheaters who cheated their way to the 2017 World Series championship. And now that we know how they cheat, all eyes are on them, and they're not doing so good as a result. Without the ability to cheat in the way that they're accustomed to, they ain't winning a lot of games. I mean, to be fair, before they started cheating, they weren't winning a lot of games either, but that's a whole other story. But yesterday's game, A's center fielder Ramon Laureano, who is arguably their best player. You could say that about Matt Chapman. You could say that about Matt Olson. You can say that about Marcus Semien. But I think there's a real case to be made. I'd shout out to Mark Canha too. But there's a real case to be made about Ramon Laureano being their most valuable player. Well, in the 7th inning yesterday, he got hit by a pitch for the second time in the game. And naturally, he was upset. It was a different pitcher, but he's upset. But he takes his base anyway. And while he's on the base, Houston Astros hitting coach Alex Cintron started talking shit about his mom and egging him on, telling him, come on. Well, them's fighting words, so Ramon Laureano charged the Astros dugout. And old Alex, as soon as the shit got real, he started hiding behind his guys real quick, which is weird when you think about it because the dude's a fucking monster. He's like 6'4", 240-something pounds, very large man. But when the going got tough, he turned into a little bitch. And naturally, as a result, the dugouts cleared. A scuffle between both teams ensued. Ramon Laureano was kicked out of the game. It's looking like, and as of this time, it's 5:31 right now. As of present time, I have not heard anything about a specific suspension. They're playing in like an hour. So I don't know what's going to happen, but it's looking like he's going to get a pretty hefty suspension. And that's the topic I want to get at right now. I've always thought it was bullshit that we never punish I'm going to mispronounce this word, but provocateurs. Don't make fun of me for mispronouncing that. Fuck you guys if I'm mispronouncing that. We never punish anyone. We never punish the people who provoke violence or even non-violence. We always punish the people who react to it. And I've never fully understood that. I mean, growing up, I played a lot of sports, and I was always taught, they're never going to see the first punch, but they're always going to see the punch that you throw. And I had been kicked out of games before because I was defending myself. I mean, literally getting bullied. I mean, physically bullied in a game. And by that, I mean, I'm getting punched. I remember, playing basketball. I played power forward. So, I'm deep inside, near the rim and whatnot. And, I mean, when shit got compact, when players are come back, I would get punched a lot. I mean, straight up punch. I don't mean kind of push them. I mean like fist clenched, punched in the ribs and the stomach intentionally. And I mean all the time. That was just normal. And first time it happened, I fought back and I got kicked out of the game. And I'm pleading with the referees. No, he punched me first. And I was told very bluntly, we don't care. That was a common experience. What I eventually learned to do after I don't know how many instances was I just started threatening kids. I'm talking about, this is when I was younger, right? I was a kid myself. I don't want anyone thinking I was picking on little kids. But we were all the same age. But, when someone started getting rough with me, I would just flat out tell them, I'm going to beat your ass after the game. And that usually took care of it. But that's not the point. I mean, we see this stuff all the time. It happens all the time in baseball and other sports. When someone starts talking shit, we're just expected to just lie down and take it. And the people who talk shit never get any kind of punishment. You don't see any kind of fines or penalties in sports. And even in the real world. I mean, someone could come and literally insult you, insult your family. And I'm not trying to say I condone violence. Violence is bad. But why do we condone this negative behavior? Why do we condone behavior that provokes violence? Shouldn't that be punished too? Because sometimes you reach your limit where you just can't take it anymore. You can only hear so much shit. And why isn't there any kind of punishment in any way, shape, or form for people who incite violence? For fuck's sake, the President of the United States of America does it. and he does a lot of shit and he gets away with it. But I mean, that's kind of what I'm getting at. Like, the bad examples in our culture are set from the top all the way on down. We shouldn't encourage this kind of behavior. And again, we shouldn't encourage violence either. We should not. But there's an old phrase, like, don't start nothing, it won't be nothing. And it really comes down to it, like, if you really don't want violence, don't instigate it. But this is America. You know, we have the right to free speech, so we can say whatever we want. But I mean, we don't really. We have the right to say whatever we want under the confines. We don't use our free speech to harm someone else. That means you can't threaten somebody, for example, right? That really should also apply to provoking people, to insulting people. You shouldn't insult people. You shouldn't get away with insulting people. It's fucking terrible. But so many things about American culture are terrible. You know, it's like, we're living in the fucking terrible times right now, guys. Like, it's I can't stress this enough. I mean, you got all around the world, this pandemic has affected the entire planet, and so many countries have handled this in a positive way. Not us. We are literally handling it the worst way you possibly can. I mean, fucking schools are letting kids back in, and day one, kids are getting fucking sick because that's exactly what. I mean, we knew this was going to happen, and they're letting it happen anyway. And I mean, some schools have closed down as a result. Some schools are saying, fuck it, let's just keep on going. The stupid fucking vice president the other day was at a school, fucking praising them. Oh, we're leading the country and blah, 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 blah. You know, we're moving forward. And blah, blah, blah. Like, no, this is fucking terrible. It's absolutely terrible. Kids are getting sick. This virus is, there's still so much we don't know about this virus. Like, right now they say that a lot of people that have recovered are going to be suffering from long-term effects. Like, some people are going to be in oxygen for the rest of their lives. Some people are going to need transplants. Some people are going to, like, have strokes at early ages, heart attacks. Like, and we're letting kids go to school where they can get this virus. Because who cares, right? It's only old people who are dying. Man, it's not. Young people are dying. This is fucking terrible. But, so let's say these kids, let's say 20% of the student population in the country gets infected with the virus, and then they recover. But now they have long-term health effects that are going to plague them the rest of their lives. What kind of effect is that going to have on society? I don't mean just the kids. I mean everyone. I mean, we have, 5 million cases so far, or 5 million known cases at the moment in this country, in the majority of which have recovered. But how many of these people that have recovered are going to be suffering from long-term health effects for the rest of their lives? Think about that. Just think about, 20 years from now. You have an entire workforce that has to be restricted for health reasons. Labor can be tough if you have to be on oxygen. If you suffered strokes, like, I mean, I know numerous stroke victims, guys. It's not good. It's really not. Like, it's. I mean, there are different degrees of strokes. Some people have strokes and not even know it. Some people have minor strokes. Some people have severe strokes. But we don't want millions of people, and I mean, we don't want millions of people to just start having these adverse health effects. That'd be terrible. Absolutely terrible. I mean, morally terrible. Financially it'd be terrible, especially since, our idiot fucking president is trying to essentially get rid of healthcare. Like, we're doomed, guys. Like, again, I'm not trying to be negative. I don't want this to be a negative podcast. I'm fucking terrified, you guys. Like, I don't see a positive future for this country. I hope I'm wrong. I really do. Really do. But I just don't see it happening. If you made it this far, thank you for listening. I think I'm going to end it here. I'm going to try to record again tomorrow. Hopefully, something more positive. We'll see. But thank you for listening. If you listen to all this and you're not judging me, I'd like to thank you for that. If you are judging me, I understand. Can't blame you. But I hope you're all well. I hope you're all healthy. I hope you're all safe. And I hope you're all going to be okay. Try to have a good day. Thank you.